The girl leaned gently against the boy's chest, her expression soft but troubled. Her violet eyes shimmered with hesitation as the sunlight filtered through the leaves above them. The boy looked ahead with a calm, unreadable face, though a flicker of tension glinted in his eyes. "That place, no, I don't want," the thought echoed in her mind, quiet but trembling, as if a painful memory stirred deep within her heart. The scene shifted to the quiet rustle of trees. A light breeze danced through the green leaves, sunlight scattering across the ground. For a moment, everything seemed calm, almost peaceful. Yet the stillness carried a weight, as though the forest itself knew what awaited them ahead. Without another word, the boy lifted the girl into his arms. She didn't resist, but her eyes widened slightly in surprise. He carried her along a narrow stone path that led toward a small pavilion hidden deep within the woods. The air grew heavier with every step, the gentle song of nature fading into silence. The place looked serene, yet it seemed to hold a shadow from the past that neither could forget. As the pavilion came into view, the girl's body tensed. Her voice, barely louder than a whisper, broke the silence. "Not that place!" Her eyes trembled with unease, her hand clutching his sleeve as though to stop him. The boy glanced down at her, confusion and concern flickering in his usually composed gaze. They finally stopped inside the pavilion. The boy turned to her, his voice low but sincere. "Previously, I misunderstood you. I even caused you trouble. I'm sorry." The girl looked down, her long lashes hiding the emotion in her eyes. The quiet rustle of leaves surrounded them, a fragile moment of honesty and regret hanging between the two. She sat quietly on the wooden bench, her hands resting gently on her lap. The sunlight filtered through the trees, casting soft shadows across her pale skin. Though everything around her seemed calm, her heart trembled with unease. The man stood before her, his tall figure partly blocking the light, his presence both reassuring and intimidating. Silence hung between them, heavy with words left unspoken. Breaking the silence, he finally spoke, his voice steady yet laced with something deeper, perhaps guilt or resolve. "Consider this as compensation," he said, his gaze turning slightly away. "You tell me what he used to do to force you to be with him, and I will help you." His tone was calm, almost too calm, but there was a promise hidden within, one that made her chest tighten. For the first time, she saw not just coldness in his eyes, but a quiet determination to protect. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, her gaze fell to the ground, her thoughts scattered. Then a gentle touch landed on her head. His hand rested there softly, warm and steady. It wasn't a gesture of dominance, but one of comfort. Her violet eyes lifted slightly, meeting his expressionless face, and for a fleeting second, she felt something unfamiliar. Safety. Memories began to surface, painful, bitter, and sharp. Her fists tightened in her lap, the weight of those words pressing down on her. It was the first time she had allowed herself to acknowledge that pain out loud. Her heart pounded softly as she continued her thought, her voice fading into the wind. "But now, only he can help me, if I just say yes." The sunlight flickered through the leaves, touching her trembling hands. In that fragile moment, she realized that trust, something she thought she had lost forever, might still find its way back to her through him. The sky stretched wide and clear above, painted with soft hues of blue and white. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, carrying the scent of summer through the quiet forest. Beneath that serene sky, two hearts faced one another, heavy with words unsaid and emotions long suppressed. She stood there, looking at him with calm yet distant eyes. The pain she once carried seemed to have softened, leaving only a trace of quiet resignation. Her lips curved into a faint, bittersweet smile. "You can't help," she murmured, her voice light but firm, as though she had already accepted something he still refused to face. The moment lingered between them, fragile and fleeting. Her slender fingers tightened slightly around his sleeve before letting go. "I accept your apologies," she said, her tone steady despite the ache in her chest. "Just don't find me anymore." The words fell like gentle rain, not angry, not cold, but final. Her eyes glimmered with the strength of someone who had learned to stop expecting kindness. Without another word, she turned and walked away. Her figure grew smaller along the winding stone path, her pink hair swaying gently with each step. The sunlight filtered through the canopy, chasing her shadow as if reluctant to let her go. He stood there, watching in silence, unable to move, unable to call out. The distance between them widened, not just in space, but in everything that could have been. A faint smile touched his lips, though his eyes betrayed a quiet sadness. "I really have a little crush on you," he whispered to himself, watching her disappear among the trees. "I'll look for you next time." The words drifted away with the breeze, a promise half-hearted yet sincere, one that carried both regrets and a lingering hope. The morning sun cast a golden hue across the courtyard, soft and warm against the red brick walls. The girl walked quietly, her expression calm yet thoughtful, the breeze gently playing with her pink hair. Suddenly, a cheerful voice called out from a distance, breaking the stillness. "Kaka, here you are!" She turned instinctively toward the sound, her violet eyes reflecting a hint of surprise. As she turned her head, her expression hardened slightly. A faint sigh escaped her lips, the kind that carried both weariness and quiet resolve. Her long hair shifted with her movement, and for a moment the sunlight framed her profile with an almost fragile beauty. Whatever awaited her next, she was bracing herself for it. Across the courtyard, a striking girl with fiery red hair approached, her smile bright and confident. Her glittering dress shimmered even under the daylight, elegant, almost excessive for a school morning. Kaka's thoughts stirred uneasily. Tang Fei Fei? Why would she wear such a dazzling outfit just to go to school? The question echoed silently in her mind, her gaze narrowing as suspicion flickered through her calm demeanor. Tang Fei Fei came closer, her tone feigning concern as she tilted her head slightly. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice sweet, yet carrying an undertone that didn't quite match her expression. Kaka didn't answer right away. Her grip tightened around her handbag and her heart tensed, already sensing that Fei Fei's kindness was merely a facade. Fei Fei's smile widened as she continued, pretending to sound sympathetic. "Did you and Dai Mingye argue? Lately, he's only been calling me out to go to D1 with him. But don't worry, I can help you talk to him." Her tone turned light, almost teasing, as she added, "He really likes me now, though. I'm afraid he might ignore you." The words stung like poison wrapped in honey. Parker's eyes dimmed slightly, but she stayed silent, not because she was weak, but because she knew some things were beneath an answer. The breeze lifted her hair as she took a calm, steady breath. Though her heart ached, her expression remained composed. With her eyes closed, she replied firmly, her voice unwavering despite the pain beneath it. It's okay. You just keep serving him well." The words were polite, yet sharp, a quiet declaration that she would no longer fight for someone who had already turned away. Her grace, even in rejection, was something few could ever imitate. She continued walking, her steps graceful but brisk, clutching her bag tightly. Inside, her thoughts swirled like a storm she refused to let show on her face. "There's nothing to show off," she told herself bitterly. "If she talks bad about me in front of Bei Mingyi, then that's even better." Her tone and thought was firm, almost defiant. She no longer cared for appearances or explanations. Sometimes, silence spoke louder than defending oneself. Behind her, Tong Feifei's sweet smile twisted into one of jealousy and contempt. Her eyes glinted with resentment as a cruel thought crossed her mind. "What does she rely on to be so close to him?" she sneered inwardly. "I'm not even allowed near him." In her imagination, she could almost see the maids whispering about the girl she despised, the one who managed to stand beside Bei Mingyi effortlessly, while she, no matter how hard she tried, was kept at a distance. The bitterness in her heart only deepened, turning admiration into envy.